There is a lot happening around the Indiana Fever right now, and we need to work through all of it with the honesty and the analytical attention it deserves. Because this is a week where the positive developments are genuinely significant. The historical milestones approaching are genuinely extraordinary, and the competitive context of the upcoming West Coast trip sets the stage for one of the most anticipated individual games of this season. Let us get into every dimension of it. We begin with Lexie Hull because the conversation surrounding her has shifted meaningfully in recent weeks, and that shift reflects something real happening on the floor. When Hull signed her two-year, $1.6 million extension through the 2027 season, there were skeptics. The $800,000 per year price point generated questions from observers who watched her struggle through the early portion of the season while managing a hamstring injury that had kept her out of all of Indiana's preseason games. Coming off the bench, working back to health, she was not delivering the consistent production that her contract value implied. The questions about whether the investment was justified were reasonable given what was visible in those early weeks. Those questions have been answered decisively. Hull's most impressive single-game performance against the Portland Fire, 16 points, a perfect 4 for 4 from three-point range, 100% field goal shooting, and a plus-minus of +25, represents one of the most efficient offensive outputs in recent WNBA history. The second most efficient 15-plus point game in league history by documented statistical analysis. That is not a routine bench player performance. That is an elite specialist delivering at a level that validates every dollar of the commitment Indiana made to keep her in the rotation. But the larger story with Hull is not the single-game performance. The larger story is what she represents within the competitive structure surrounding Caitlin Clark. What has Lexie Hull meant to your opening five? Yeah, I think she's been great since coming back from, the hamstring injury, and I told her she needs to stop falling down so much. Like, she's just constantly falling down. It stresses me out. Like, she's got this, cut on her leg that just doesn't stop bleeding. She's always on the ground, but, she's just tenacious. No matter who her matchup is, she's going to go after them. She's going to pick up full. She's going to do all the little things, and I think that's something you really, really appreciate. She doesn't care how many points she scores. She's out there to get deflections. She usually leads the team in deflections every single game. She's going to get steals. She's going to guard their best player. She's going to rebound the ball. She does so many things that, sometimes she'll open the box score. Sometimes they don't, but, she's always making an impact, and she's always in our best lineups. She's just very selfless teammate. And then she's fine. The way she's been shooting the ball is also, very helpful to us as well. She spaces the floor really well. So, it's been fun just kind of see her find her Hull is, by almost every observable measure, exactly the kind of teammate that Clark needs and operates best alongside. She understands where to be without the ball. She cuts backdoor when the defense overextends. She spaces the floor with legitimate three-point range and over 40% from beyond the arc across each of the last two seasons. That forces defenses to respect and guard her even when the ball is elsewhere. She does the dirty work that makes the playmaker's job easier without requiring the ball or the attention to maximize her own contribution. That is an extraordinarily valuable profile, and it is a profile that Clark's game it was designed specifically for it. Now let us move to Caitlin Clark, because there are multiple significant developments surrounding her that all deserve direct engagement. Clark posted a video on social media this week that has generated significant attention and significant discussion within the fan community. The video shows Clark making 4 consecutive three-pointers in succession, but the specific detail that makes the video genuinely noteworthy is not the volume of makes. It is the range from which those shots are being launched. She is shooting from deep well, beyond the standard three-point arc, from the kind of distance that characterizes the logo threes that have defined her most spectacular moments this season. And she is making them consecutively, with ease in a practice environment that captures exactly the kind of shooting, mechanics, and rhythmic confidence that indicates a player who is fully locked in and operating at peak preparatory intensity. If anyone believed the three-point shootings, the physical dimension of the footage is also worth noting. Clark has been working to refine her physical conditioning, and the recent practice imagery reflects a player who is in excellent shape heading into a critical stretch of the season. This is the version of Clark that Indiana fans have been waiting to see operate at full capacity within a system that gives her the freedom to perform. Now, let's talk about the record that is approaching, because it is genuinely historic and it deserves the attention that its significance warrants. With 5 assists in Thursday's game against the Valkyries, some reports suggest she may only need 3, depending on how updated statistics are being calculated. Caitlin Clark will become the all-time assist leader in Indiana Fever franchise history at a rate of 9 assists per game for the season. The pace at which she is accumulating assists makes this record's arrival a matter of when rather than whether, and it is arriving in year 3 of what is clearly a career that is just beginning to reach the heights its talent suggests are possible. Consider the full statistical picture she is constructing this season: 23 points per game, 9 assists per game, 43% from the field, 96% from the free throw line, and numbers so close to perfection that it defies normal professional standards, and three-point shooting at 34%. That understates her actual capability, given the early season struggles that are now clearly behind her. She also holds the record for the most career games with 20-plus points and 10-plus assists in WNBA history, 12 such games, a record she continues to extend with each performance that meets that threshold. No player in the history of this league has produced that specific combination of scoring and playmaking volume in a single game as frequently as Clark. Not once, not twice, not 5 times, 12 times and counting. These are not narrowly defined statistical categories or cherry-picked benchmarks constructed to inflate a legacy. These are the foundational metrics of basketball production, scoring, and play making, and Clark leads all historical performers in their combined frequency. The record books are being rewritten in real time, and the player doing the rewriting is in year 3 of what is already a career-defining run. The Indiana Fever are heading to California for a West Coast road trip that includes the rematch against the Golden State Valkyries on Thursday, airing on Prime Video. The practice footage that surfaced ahead of the travel showed the full roster in preparation mode, with Clark, Raven Johnson, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and the rest of the group getting in their work before boarding for the West Coast. Deirdre Dantes was visible in the practice footage, which addresses speculation about a potential trade that had circulated in certain corners of the fan community. The Fever have chosen to keep their current roster configuration intact as they enter this stretch. Did you start there? Well, they had me standing there for a very long time. I was like getting nervous. And then they told me that the guy was going to say, I'm here to give the command, and then he never said that. So I was awkwardly kind of waiting for a second, and I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to go for it. They can adjust. And it turned out fine, but the crowd was cheering anyway. So it just kind of seemed like I was getting the second cheer, but yeah, it had turned out well. I was definitely a little nervous. I'm usually not nervous when there's a microphone in my face, but when you get in front of 300,000 people and on live television, that's a lot. I don't want to mess up my 4 words, but it was still super cool. So they leave you up there just to sort of psych yourself out, just standing there, staring at everything? Yeah, you still got 3 minutes till you go. And then, the director production person told me that the guy would come on and introduce me and say, here to give the command, and then he didn't say that. He just introduced me, so I was, kind of waiting. And I was like, I think it's my time. And I just did it. But it turned out good, so, yeah. Lexie talked about. Yeah. I mean, it's only 4 words, so. People were telling me, not to say. Not to mess me up and, tell me other things to say, but I'm like, no. Guys, only 4 words, but she said. You missed the pause, though. I did, I guess. Laughter. You get nervous and then you talk way faster, that's always how it goes. You think you're going to talk slow, and then you get out there, and you go way faster because you're nervous. But the developing friendship between Clark and Raven Johnson that has been visible in recent practice footage and team content is worth acknowledging as a human story that provides some warmth within a season that has generated considerable friction. The competitive history between these 2 players, they faced each other in college basketball before finding themselves on the same professional team, makes the genuine friendship developing between them more interesting than a routine teammate relationship. The connection visible in recent media captures reflects 2 people who have built real trust and real. Clark is approaching a franchise assists record. She is producing at MVP level rates across every statistical category. Hull has emerged as a legitimate and valuable contributor whose starting lineup presence makes Indiana measurably better. The practice footage shows a prepared team heading into a meaningful road contest. The Valkyries rematch carries additional context from everything that has surrounded it. The competitive confrontations from the first meeting, the subsequent controversies, and the unresolved institutional questions that the league has not addressed with the urgency the situation demanded. All of that will be in the background of Thursday's broadcast on Prime Video, but the primary story, the one that supersedes all of it in terms of competitive and historical significance, is what Caitlin Clark is on the verge of doing in the Fever's all-time record books. A player averaging 23 points and 9 assists per game, shooting 96% from the free throw line, holding the league record for 20.10 assist games in WNBA history, and preparing to claim the franchise's all-time assists leadership with 1 strong performance in California. That player is not a player in the middle of a difficult season. That player is a generational performer, doing generational things during a season that has required her to be more resilient, more competitive, and more individually excellent than any professional athlete should have to be. The record is coming. Thursday is the stage, and Caitlin Clark is ready.